I have yet another new lawsuit for you. You may have heard us talk about this last week, which was the Disney versus Redbox lawsuit, and this was Redbox's answer. Well, this is going to be a little similar, so we're not going to go through, this isn't going to be an hour long reading of a lawsuit. But Redbox has decided that it's not just going to make a defense in that case. It's going on the offensive and it is suing Buena Vista Home Entertainment, Disney, Lucasfilm, MVL Finance, which is MVL Film Finance, and Movies Anywhere in a jury trial action. They want a declaratory judgment. They are suing for copyright misuse. They are suing for tortious interference with prospective economic advantage, false advertising, and unfair competition. In 2002, Redbox revolutionized the movie rental business. Redbox brought rentals to the market for $1 a day with no late fees, no membership fees, at a time when DVDs were renting for $3 or more and selling for $16 or more. Some movie studios embraced Redbox and the new consumers it introduced to the entertainment industry. Others, however, initially labeled Redbox the Red Menace and sought to eliminate it. Arguing that cheaper rentals must mean even less money for Hollywood, and even that cheaper rentals devalue the experience, they sought to eliminate Redbox by refusing to offer it new releases until demand for those releases had largely dried up. Since then, Redbox and these studios have entered into partnerships that benefit not only Redbox and its consumers, but also provide the studios with increased sales demand and promotion of their content. Disney is the exception. Then, in 2017, Redbox innovated again. Redbox began adding digital movie downloads to its popular kiosks, allowing customers to buy digital movies at prices lower than those charged by resellers like iTunes or Vudu. Redbox procures digital movie download codes at full price, Disney gets paid, and resells them to customers. This case is about Disney's unlawful efforts to stifle Redbox's lawful sales of DVDs, Blu-rays, and digital movie codes to Redbox's customers in an effort to prop up high prices to consumers. Disney wants to eliminate low-cost options like Redbox in order to force consumers to pay as much as possible for Disney's content, even though Disney is already fully compensated when it first sells that content to a distributor or retailer. Why would Disney do this? In part, it's because Disney believes it can command a higher premium in the short term from its distributors and retailers when they sell at higher prices. But primarily, Disney is laying the groundwork for its own direct-to-consumer model. Disney's acquisition of a majority interest in digital distributor Hulu as part of its $52 billion acquisition of 21st Century Fox and its separate plans to launch an additional streaming service in 2019 are major components of that move. Defendant Movies Anywhere, as the successor to Disney Movies Anywhere, also recently launched a digital content service. This explains why Disney wants to keep the retail prices for its titles as high as possible. Disney wants to sell its content at the higher prices it is trying to condition consumers to expect, rather than the lower prices they can get from Redbox. In the absence of a partnership with Disney, Redbox purchases the vast majority of its Disney titles at retail like any consumer. Redbox purchases many of these movies in the form of combo packs, which include a DVD, a Blu-ray disc, and a digital copy. The digital movie can then be redeemed through a Disney-controlled website, one of which is Movies Anywhere, using a digital code included in the pack. Also, like any other consumer, Redbox obtains the right to do what it wishes with each of the combo pack's components once it buys a pack, including keeping them, reselling them, giving them away to friends or family members as gifts. Redbox rents the DVDs and Blu-ray discs it buys in combo packs. Redbox has also recently started reselling the digital movies, often for about half or less of what the same digital movies would cost from other retailers. But Disney has taken a number of specific and unlawful steps to stop Redbox from lawfully selling what Redbox lawfully purchased. First, on information and belief, Disney is effectively orchestrating a campaign to prevent Redbox from purchasing enough Disney titles to meet consumer demand. For example, on behalf or on information on belief, Disney's own distribution company, BVHE, Buena Vista Home Entertainment, has placed provisions into its contract with retailers prohibiting them from selling copies of Disney movies to Redbox. On information and belief, BVHE has also taken the extraordinary step of reducing the movie copies it allocates to distributors believed to sell to Redbox to prevent them from fulfilling Redbox's orders. In addition, BVHE and Movies Anywhere have falsely stated or implied on their products' packaging websites as well as to the press that Redbox's rental and sale of Disney titles is unlawful. Specifically, BVHE and Movies Anywhere falsely state that a purchaser may not rent or sell the individual components of the combo pack, including the discs, and that Redbox's sales of the digital movies are unauthorized and violates contracts and copyrights. On information and belief, for at least the past 5 years, every combo pack being distributed, including Beauty and the Beast, Cars 3, and Frozen, contains the following language. This product is authorized for private use only. It is prohibited for any other use, cannot be resold or rented individually, all other rights reserved. Unless expressly authorized in writing, any copying, exhibition, export, distribution, or other use is prohibited. Disney knows that these representations are false. While the copyright laws protect the rights of copyright owners in their creative works, the first sale doctrine limits those rights by protecting the public's ability to resell or otherwise dispose of copies of those works once the copyright owner has put the copies into the stream of commerce. Disney's attempt to control the disposition of the combo pack components even after Disney sells the DVD, Blu-ray disc, and digital movie to a Disney-authorized distributor or retailer is an illegal abuse of its copyrights and dominant position in the industry. These collective actions have harmed Redbox by reducing sales, harming its reputation and goodwill, raising its acquisition costs, and causing its investment in offering Disney digital movies to be lost. Even worse, they are harming consumers by making them choose between a higher-priced digital movie from a service like iTunes or Vudu and no digital movie at all. Redbox therefore brings this action to stop defendants' unlawful conduct, seeking a declaration that defendants cannot enforce their attempts to restrict rental and resale of their products, an injunction, compensation for Redbox's damages, recoupment of defendants' wrongfully gained profits, punitive damages, and Redbox's fees and costs incurred in bringing this action. Holy mackerel! What do you think of that? I'm personally a little bit excited about that because I want the courts and I want copyright law to recognize the right of first sale, that when you buy a digital code, you can resell that digital code. And this is the first time I'm hearing that Disney is trying to enforce the sale or non-sale of those digital codes. So I really hope that Redbox wins this. I would love to be able to, one, see Disney not win something. Two, Disney learn that the copyright law really does apply to them. The copyright law that they fought for. They're the ones that fought for this damn law. So they shouldn't be fighting it. They think it's so important that we have copyright law to protect everyone. Well, guess what? This is the protection of the copyright law, Disney. You have to abide by it too. It's not like you're the king and you get to do whatever you want and then everybody else has to abide by the law that you made. No, you helped make the law. That law also applies to you, dumbasses. Sorry.
That's okay, because that was the first thing that I thought too. I was like, this is exciting. This is like a huge blow. Like, it's a really big deal. And I think that we need to follow this very closely. I think it's a very big deal.
Let's just read a couple of the factual allegations here too before I stop. Redbox began in 2002 when McDonald's tested low-cost rentals from self-service DVD kiosks in its Washington, D.C. stores. The idea was to make dinner and a movie affordable. Redbox's operating premise is simple: make movies available through efficient kiosks, pass those savings directly to the consumer. It is able to pass those savings on by eliminating overhead and simplifying the rental process. Instead of buying or building or maintaining and staffing brick-and-mortar stores like the Blockbuster Video of yesteryear, Redbox sells the movies it has purchased through small, fully automated self-service kiosks. In addition to eliminating overhead, this allows Redbox to nimbly relocate to match demand rather than be tied to real estate. Each kiosk holds 600 jewel cases representing up to 200 different movie titles. A consumer can browse and etc., etc., etc. Consumers have proven their love for Redbox. Within 2 years of the 2002 test run, they were renting 1 million DVDs at 800 locations. It rented its 1 billionth disc in 2010. There are 41,000 kiosks nationwide and over a million rentals a day. A few movie studios immediately embraced and quickly signed on. Redbox does not redirect consumers away from higher-priced retailers. It brings new consumers into the fold. Most consumers who rent or buy discs from Redbox simply would not afford or regularly want to pay the high retail prices typically required to buy a new disc or digital movie. This is a different group of consumers. While some of the other major studios who did not see that value at first ultimately came to Stockholm Syndrome with Redbox, Disney has been the sole holdout. Disney has, BVHE has never accepted Redbox's value proposition. It views Redbox's low prices as a threat. It has therefore been Redbox has been unable to obtain a distribution agreement with Buena Vista Home Entertainment. Instead, to ensure that its customers nevertheless continue to have access to popular Disney titles, Redbox lawfully purchases Disney movies from third parties. Redbox buys the movies at full price when they are released for sale to the public and quickly merchandises them for delivery through the kiosks. Sometimes, and despite Disney's interference, Redbox has been able to buy Disney titles directly from distributors, but for the most part, Redbox purchases Disney titles at retail. The most cost-effective way to purchase Disney titles is by purchasing a combo pack. The combo pack consists of a DVD, Blu-ray disc, and digital code. And so that's what their major disagreement is. In 2017, a local retailer told Redbox it is actually in our contract to Disney that we do not sell to Redbox vendors. Defendants know or should know that their statements about movies being for private use only are false. Defendants know that Redbox buys the combo packs outright, paying Disney and its retailers their full price. As the lawful owner, Redbox may then dispose of each component as it pleases. This is the very essence of the first sale doctrine, which we'll go over separately in another video at some point. If consumers come to expect that they can buy unauthorized digital downloads for below market prices, says Disney, this could have a permanent and irreparable negative impact on consumers' expectations. Irreparable harm through consumers' expectations. Very cute, Disney. So that's the major brunt of their assertions. And then Redbox goes on to say that they're being harmed as well in the reverse. So if Disney is saying that they're being harmed by Redbox's actions, well, Redbox must be being harmed by Disney's saying that Redbox is doing something illegal, right? So one of these people is right. One of these entities is right. I'm personally on the side of Redbox on this one. How about anybody else?
Absolutely. I completely agree.
I don't understand what the big deal is. They charge extra for the combo pack. They're usually like $25 more than that. And even if they're on sale, it's still like 15 or 19. Like it's not like it's a cheap combo pack. And who watches a DVD and a Blu-ray and a digital anyway? Like I usually only watch one of them. So Disney knows what it's doing. It knows what the law is. It's just trying to get away with one of these things where everybody just skirts the law. They're not doing anything illegal necessarily outright by saying, you shouldn't do this on the box. What they're doing that's illegal is then trying to enforce that unenforceable provision. They know what the first sale doctrine is. Now, we have some case law that says that once you redeem that code, that digital download code, maybe then you've had to agree to a license agreement not to transfer the movie. I would still like to see the ability to transfer an already redeemed movie. But this is not what we're talking about. We're talking about the code to unlock the movie and tie it to someone's account. If I get a Google code, it ties a movie to my Google account. If I get a Vudu code, it ties to my Vudu account. If I get, anybody remember, what was it, Purple or Ultraviolet or something was one of them? I think I still have some movies on Ultraviolet. what even was that? Like, that was one of these companies' attempts to like lock it down again. So I don't want to get my movies locked down to Disney's service where Disney gets all the money and it's all Disney, Disney, Disney. I don't want to have a different service for every studio. I would like to have my aggregators like Google, a distributor where I buy my movie from Google because I believe that Google will fuck with my movies a little less than Disney will. Is really what it comes around to. You know, I can expect that in the future Disney will probably restrict access to my licensed video, saying, "Oh, sorry, we're just not going to maintain that anymore. Nobody's watching in that format anymore anyway." I would trust Google just a little bit more not to do that. I don't know. I could be wrong. I very well could be wrong about that. I'm not saying Google is trustworthy. I'm saying I trust them more than I trust Disney.
I mean, and what kind of profit are we even talking about here? Like,
Well,
well,
Disney's going to go after any profit, in my humble opinion. In my experience, Disney's a pretty greedy company. Remember, this is the same company that before the digital era, would withhold distribution of tapes and DVDs for a whole decade to try and drive up the prices for them, and then do a couple week or couple month release and then pull them again. So, for example, Fantasia, you couldn't buy that for a decade. The original Tron, you couldn't buy that for a decade. Like, I struggled to find a copy of Tron at one point and had to rent it from Blockbuster instead.
well, what I'm saying here is, how many uses realistically does a DVD and a Blu-ray get? Like 15, maybe, out of Redbox, since these aren't.
Like my favorite, like
Yeah.
rentals. 15? No, it's probably a lot more than that. You could realistically get it rented once a day.
Well, my point is that taking into account the fact that sometimes the discs get destroyed, sometimes they're scratched beyond use.
Sometimes people steal them,
Steal
sure, I
them.
get that. So yeah, they're making. I'm gonna guess that Redbox makes more than double its money back, but not more than three or four
Yeah,
times its
yeah.
money back on a DVD.
It's not that ridiculous. I mean,
That's a normal
yeah,
profit margin,
exactly.
really.
Yeah. So it's not that big of a deal, really, from Disney's point of view, as far as I'm concerned. Although they, like you said, they are going to go after
Yeah,
anything. Um,
yeah. But Disney is getting paid. They are getting paid when the distributor buys the movie or when Redbox buys a movie directly from Disney. Now, I'm assuming that when Redbox buys a movie directly from Disney, it's not, they don't write them a letter and say, "Hi, this is Redbox. We'd like to order 20,000 copies." They do it like, "Hey, let's order 50 copies under this guy's name," or something like that. And Disney might actually send 50 copies to some Joe Schmo, not realizing they're sending it to Redbox. But if they tried to order 5,000 copies, Disney would be like, "You sound like a distributor. Let's find out who you are." You know what I
well,
mean?
it's kind of sad that they have to do that, though. I mean, this is their point in their complaint, is that they should.
That does sound a little bit
Yeah,
uncapitalistic,
yeah, they
doesn't it?
shouldn't have to order through Joe Schmo. They should be able to order it from Disney, and Disney is preventing this from
Yeah.
happening. You know what I mean?
So we call this protectionism in the law, and we talk about protectionism. Mostly states and governments do protectionism. So the federal government might impose a high tariff on oil imports if it wants to promote domestic, internal, our country's oil. Or, for example, car dealerships are protectionist of middlemen. So the government, literally, state governments made a law that says you can't buy a car directly from a dealer. You have to go through directly from a manufacturer. You have to go through a dealer. So that makes sure that the middlemen are protected by that law. They must be allowed to sell cars. So anybody who's able to bypass that, like Tesla, is now making waves, even though it's like not offensive to anyone's concept of capitalism that they should be able to direct sell their cars, and that the middleman should only be able to exist when they add value, and therefore that value warrants a higher price and therefore a profit.
Yeah, Disney does not have big vending machine boxes in every store. Redbox is adding value to the
Right.
market.
And Disney is free to open up their own Redbox like
Yep.
kiosks. No one is preventing Disney from competing. In fact, quite the opposite. Disney is trying to take the item that is a digital download and say, no, 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 this is a licensed copy, and therefore our very restrictive license agreement prevails, and we can enforce that against you. Even though I have not heard yet how in the world Redbox actually became a party to this license agreement. Buying it does not create a license.
So I think the core of the matter might be that Disney is not just trying to protect its license and its content, but it's actually trying to destroy another market. Like
Yes.
it's not just
Well,
it's
both.
trying to
It's
destroy a
trying to
market.
protect its market, not its content, but its market for its content.
Right, right. But I mean, like, it's trying to destroy a market that it doesn't even have a foot in. Like, this isn't like Redbox's market is not in any way involved with Disney. Just the fact that they rent the discs. That's the only way that they're involved. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, right, but Disney's priming the pump. So Disney does plan ahead, and I'm sure that Disney is thinking about 5, 10 years from now.
yeah,
I'm not sure that Disney is thinking about farther than that because they really just seem so short-sighted in some of this. They're only thinking about 5 or 10 years from now, in my humble opinion, because they're not thinking about. Really, Disney could make their movies just that much more popular if they were a little bit cheaper, actually, in my opinion. But Disney does make good movies generally, and people, generally speaking, want to watch Disney's movies pretty much no matter what they make. Like, I'm gonna go see Star Wars, even if the next one's crappy. Like, I'm still gonna go see it, right? Like, this isn't. I'm not gonna boycott Disney because they make crappy movies. No, they make decent movies. They might not make the world's greatest movies, and sometimes I disagree with their business practices, but I'm going to go see them. And so Disney is recognizing that, and they're shooting for what's called a market clearing price, a price that will make them the most money, and there will be no longer anyone out there going, I'm ready to buy at that price, but I can't find an item because it's too scarce. Unfortunately, there's with digital goods, you don't have a market clearing price because you can never clear the market. That's just by definition.
right.
So they're trying to just take advantage of this unclearable market by keeping the prices artificially high because there is no demand and there is no scarcity in the economic transaction that is a digital download unless they artificially create it. So I see what they're doing. It's a terrible business practice in my humble opinion. It's maybe some people will not be able to see what's going on and they won't care or whatever, but some of us who see this stuff recognize that you're really just trying to line your pockets, you're really just trying to make your next boat payment, you're really just trying to keep yourself living in Southern California, where it's nice and expensive and sunny, and it's beautiful there, don't get me wrong, I love it too, it's beautiful there, but it's also where so many people go because it's beautiful there. So the price is the only thing that keeps people separate and out of LA and Hollywood and Burbank and all that. So I understand why you want to make more money, but honestly, like there is a point where you're just being greedy, and I'm definitely on the side that Disney is just being greedy here. When you're an artist, and Disney is an artist, is an art creation company, when you create art, I believe you have a duty to truth and goodness and virtue and all that. And I don't mean that you can't create dark art. I just mean that you can't create art that says the world is great and we should all live together in peace and harmony while at the same time being a money grubbing greedy corporation. That just seems like at odds to me. If I'm going to create art, where the underlying message is you should be a good and virtuous person, I'm going to also try and be a good and virtuous person as that artist. I don't see how you can have the genuineness, sincerity, and heart in your art if you also are not embodying the principles that you're espousing in your art.
Right.
Just my humble opinion. But then Disney also knows what it's doing, and it, like South Park called them out on, markets sex to children in the form of borderline stuff because that sells. They aren't wrong, it sells. I just think it's wrong because it's immoral. We shouldn't be trying to sell, borderline sexual stuff to children. We shouldn't be trying to exploit maximum dollar out of the market via legal action against a company that's frankly doing just fine. Like, we've seen so many times Sony has tried to dominate the market, and look where that got them. They no longer dominate the market. They were very, very restrictive back in the 90s, and now Sony is just another player in the market. They no longer dominate because they tried too hard to dominate. Like they said in Star Wars, the tighter you grasp, the more systems will slip through your fingers.
Hmm.
So it's a balancing act, and I don't understand why we keep forgetting that it's a balancing act. That no one's going to own the entire. If Disney did own the entire media market that is the U.S. antitrust law would say that they have to be broken up anyway. So who cares? Just have a good time making your stuff, people.
Yeah, I mean, Disney doesn't care so much about balancing the seesaw as they do about like owning the entire park. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's pretty ridiculous.